Niklsun here, and welcome to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. I'm your host, and on this show, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'll be going over all of the day's movie news, as well as going over what it means for the production in general, such as casting decisions, trailer announcements, director announcements, things like that. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's Hot Topics. Alright, so as most of you know, the other day, Marvel went ahead and officially released the first trailer for Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, their original plan was to reveal the first footage on next week's episode of, or actually I should say now tomorrow's episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And as we all know now, that plan at face value backfired. The trailer did leak online, and so then they had to officially release the trailer online as well, just to cover themselves, make sure that they took control of the situation, which is what I've always been saying about companies, especially Sony. They're the company that needs to do the most when it comes to derailing all this misinformation about all their upcoming Spider-Man projects, because it's just causing a lot of people to have doubts about them. But anyway, Marvel looks to be trying to capitalize on this. Now, I'm going to go into two possibilities here. One, that this was an unprecedented incident that happened with the trailer leaking. It derailed their plans to increase their viewership on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So what they've decided to do now is, as on tomorrow's episode, they're actually going to be debuting more footage. Now, what that footage is going to entail, whether or not it's just a couple of quick little shots here and there, is still yet to be determined. But they're also going to be debuting even more footage. Now, this one, I believe, is going to be the same level of footage we got from that Marvel special that they had several months ago, where they just showed off the concept art. But there is a Marvel event happening on November 4th called Marvel 75 Years from Pulp to Pop. And it's going to be I believe it's an hour-long special, which is going to be talking about Marvel as the company. And through that, they're going to be debuting exclusive footage. Now, I'm assuming that's going to be one or two quick shots. It's not going to be anything. Whether or not we actually get substantial new footage tomorrow is still yet to be determined. I don't know if they're going to just show the party sequence that they also showed at the Comic-Con footage. I can't see them showing any more footage than they've already revealed at conventions. And they've only shown that extended about 3.5 to 4 minute trailer that they showed at Comic-Con, which was essentially the trailer that we got, save for the opening sequence, which was them at the party and each one trying to lift Thor's hammer. I don't know if they're going to show that, because that would almost completely, depending on if they showed the whole clip, and I don't think they will, because it's going to be a commercial break, but if they showed the whole clip, where it was the entire party sequence that they showed at Comic-Con, and then the remaining trailer, then I could understand, because my feeling is that if they go ahead and they show the party sequence, that's going to undermine slightly the mood and tone that they were trying to give set up with the first trailer, because it was a very gloomy tone, it was a very moody and somber tone, very dark and depressing. So having a party sequence where they're all laughing, telling jokes and all that kind of stuff, and then showing a little bit of despair, it might work. It all depends on how it's edited. It might work, absolutely. But I just feel that could undermine slightly what they might be trying to do. Now, let's get to my other point. There has been a lot of rumors going out there, and when I talked about it the other day, I said I don't think of this as likely, because this would have undermined their footage of showing on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and getting the ratings up. However, they're now showing more footage. So the rumor was, and I talked about this the other day, that Marvel was the company that leaked the trailer. That through a third party, they managed to get it online, and that because they had a very quick response, it was a great response, absolutely. Damn Hydra, that's just perfect. But I mean, essentially as a way to build up their PR. They leaked the trailer on Tuesday. I believe it was Tuesday that it leaked. Or was it Wednesday? It was either Tuesday night or Wednesday that it leaked. I can't remember exactly. But leak the trailer, then control the situation, show great leadership when it comes to dealing with a situation and a problem, and then officially unveil the trailer, then debut even more footage. I don't see, right now it's starting to come out that this may have actually been the case, because I don't know any other studio that would have had, I mean, they could still work really quickly, absolutely, but I don't know any other studio that would have had this much new footage, or at least additional footage to show outside of this, ready to be cut into a trailer with music cues and title cards and all that kind of stuff. I mean, putting together a trailer does take some time. And it all depends. I mean, this is all speculation. This is all just conjecture based on the information that we've been given. It's more likely now that they did it. And even if they did, I'm not like, so what? We still got the footage. We still got to see the amazing tone and the amazing, incredible action sequences that were going to be presented next May. So the more footage that we get, the better. Absolutely. I just hope that this is the last bit of footage that we see, at least until the Super Bowl, because you can be guaranteed they're going to do a Super Bowl ad. This is what they did with the first Avengers. They released the first trailer, with the exception of the little after credit sequence after the first Captain America. They released the first trailer in the middle of October. I think it was like the 11th or the 12th or something like that. And then the next trailer that we got was with the Super Bowl. And then we got the final trailer about a couple of weeks later, maybe 3 weeks later, maybe a month later. But it was very similarly cut together trailer. It just had more footage in it, but it had the same shots. So I hope that we don't see any more footage until the Super Bowl. And if we do, I hope it's only like the 30-second clip. And then we get the final trailer sometime in March to lead us into the May 1st release. I think that's what's going to happen, and I hope that that's what happens, because I don't want this, again, to bring up Sony. I don't want this to be an Amazing Spider-Man 2 situation, and I don't think it will be. Avengers is the type of property that they almost don't even need to advertise anything else. They can just keep showing this trailer, and then maybe include 1 or 2 new shots just to, get people a little bit more excited, but they don't need to. This has such a high built-in audience that they don't have to. Same with Star Wars. Star Wars Episode 7 does not need to put out any footage for a long time, and the studio is well aware of that. They don't have to put it out. This is why, and I wasn't going to report on this, but I'll just bring it up very quickly. This is why I haven't been reporting on these rumors that we're going to be getting a Batman v Superman teaser by the end of the year. I don't believe that for a second. And the reason that I don't believe that, first off, the movie's 1.5 years away. If they're going to start promoting it now, you're going to cause yourself to be backed into a corner. You're going to put out a trailer now, which means that you're going to have some kind of new trailer in theaters within 6 months, which then puts it a year out. And it's rare that we even get a movie to put out a trailer that soon. That I could understand. A trailer coming out sometime in March as like maybe even just the Comic-Con footage, just in high def. Just showcase that and get everybody really pumped about it. But outside of that, no, we're not going to see a trailer this year. They're saying it's going to be attached to The Hobbit. I mean, it might. There is maybe a 1% chance, but Warner Brothers would be stupid to do that. The amount of buzz they've already been getting about their DC shared universe because of this announcement, they now know that they have at least some traction when it comes to this race with Marvel. They don't have to put out a trailer. And I don't think that it's the smart decision to do that. Maybe in December, release a poster. Even then, I don't think that that's the good way to go. I don't think that's the right decision to make because we're so far out. I don't think that we should get anything until at least next summer. I think the first official trailer should be released the same way that they did with the new Mad Max. They showed like a 3-minute sizzle reel at Comic-Con, and then what they do immediately after that, they uploaded it online for everybody to see. I think that's what WB should do next year, and let that be the first officially released footage. We don't need anything until then. Maybe just show us a couple of pictures. Maybe even sometime in the spring, give us the first photo of all of the superheroes together in their uniforms. Get the ball rolling, get that publicity train started on Justice League and get all the promotional materials ready for that. Because a lot of those characters are going to be in Batman v Superman. So it's nice to just get everybody, interested in seeing what are they going to look like. I have a feeling that within the next maybe 6 months, maybe even just a year, we're going to have our first official look at everybody in costume. I don't think that they're going to let that go any much longer than that. 6 months might be pushing it. I think it's going to be closer to between 6 months and a year. So sometime around next summer, probably around Comic-Con, we're going to get our first official look at everybody in their uniforms. And I'm excited for that. I really am. But again, to me, it's a stupid decision on Warner Brothers' part to release a trailer then, because it doesn't make sense. Look at what Marvel's doing. Marvel didn't release their first trailer for Avengers 2 until they released a footage at Comic-Con, but it never went anywhere outside of that. And their first officially released trailer came out at the end of October. So they're 7 months away. So, 7 months away would be September for Batman v Superman. It would be next September. Almost a year away would be when they would be more likely to show off the first trailer. But we're going to be getting it sooner than that. I'm assuming July of next year we'll get our first official trailer, but I don't think it's going to be any time before that. The most I would ever say would be March, because that's a year away from the release. But anyway, make sure to check out Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. tomorrow night, because they're going to be showing off the new footage. More than likely, it's going to be showing up online. But I really do have to say this. Anybody who has kind of thrown off Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because of the way that last season was handled, I recommend giving it another shot. Because especially this season, the show has really been solid. The storylines are not really one and done. They do have a slight procedural effect to them, but there is an overall story that is being told over every episode, and it is being addressed in every episode, and it's now starting to take more of the forefront. They are really starting to get a grasp and understanding of the story they're trying to tell. So I definitely recommend checking it out if you guys have already abandoned it. And even if you check it out again and you don't like it, absolutely, that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, absolutely. I just feel that the show has been given a little bit more crap than is deserved, because the show is still really entertaining, and at the end of the day, that's the main goal. They are not out to win Emmys. That is not the decision that they did with making the show. They are not out to win awards. They're out to please the fans. They're out to entertain. And I do think that, I mean, I'm not as big of a comic book fanboy as a lot of other people are. I really do think in an entertainment standpoint, they are succeeding. So I definitely want everybody to at least give it another shot to see if it can continue on, because it's a great way for Marvel to introduce B tier, C tier, even D tier characters, as a way to just expand their roster. Now, they don't need to be utilized later on, but I mean, it's a great way for them just to introduce them. So, and really great team dynamics. I'm really liking this season. So I definitely recommend to give it a shot. But definitely check out at least tomorrow night's episode to see the new footage of Avengers Age of Ultron, and we will definitely be covering that on Wednesday's episode. But outside of that, if we get more information about this topic, then I will definitely update you guys on here. Remember a couple of weeks ago when Warner Brothers announced all their upcoming DC movies? Well, that wasn't the only purpose of that call. A couple of other film franchises that they announced, or at least that they gave release dates for, were the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the upcoming Harry Potter spin-off trilogy that they gave dates for on 2016, 2018, and 2020. I believe those were the years. Anyway, another section that was announced was the Lego franchise. So the Lego movie came out this year to unsurmountable praise. I mean, that movie was just excellent. It was so endearing. It made you laugh. It made you love the characters on the screen. It just did such a great job about that. And it made a whole ton of money. And a lot of people really responded very well to it. So Warner Brothers enacted this is one of their new franchises. So not only did they announce, well before this, they announced a Lego Movie 2. They also announced a Lego Ninjago movie. But during this call, one thing that they did was they've pushed Lego Movie 2 back a year, because they've now introduced Lego Batman. So they're going to be doing a Lego... So the next one that's coming out is Lego Ninjago. Lego Ninjago comes out in 2016. Then I think it's in May of 2017, we're going to be getting Lego Batman movie, which was the original date for Lego Movie 2. And that was originally going to be directed by Chris McKay, who was the animation co-director and supervisor of the Lego movie. Well, he is now going to be taking full reins of the Lego Batman movie. So that leaves open the director's spot for Lego Movie 2. While that's still vacant, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the co-writers and directors of the Lego movie, as well as 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, these guys have come back on and not only are going to be producing the Lego Movie 2, but they are going to be writing the screenplay. Now, that to me is, at least personally to me, that is more important than them directing the movie. Because even if they were to come in and direct the movie from somebody else's script, it would still most likely be fantastic, but it wouldn't have as many of their little intricacies within the movie. So with them writing it, that to me is a much better situation than them only directing it. Now, the director's chairs on these movies are still open, with the exception of Lego Batman. Lego Batman is going to be directed by Chris McKay. But if they were to come back, because they've said for a bit that they're taking a little bit of a break. They just did 2 movies in the same year. They did 22 Jump Street and the Lego movie. So they are taking a bit of a break, and they only do movies that cause them to be really creatively infused. So if they came up with a really great idea, which it sounds like they have because they're going to be writing the movie, there is a very good chance that they could be directing this film as well. So we're going to be seeing this movie come out sometime in 2018. Again, there is no word if they are going to direct, and hopefully we're going to get a release date sometime soon. I mean, still 2018 is 3.5 years away, so they still have a lot of time. We're going to get a lot more information about Ninjago and Lego, and Batman before we get the Lego Movie 2 information, but still, I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited to see where this world can come out, can go for, because there's so many possibilities with this. I just hope that they don't start to cheap out, because if you look at like the Lego Batman movies that have already come out, just the regular animation ones, they're fun, but they look cheap. And the jokes are aimed more towards kids. The great thing about the Lego movie was it was like a Pixar film. It was made for both adults and kids. It was very bright and colorful and kid-friendly. There was no swearing. There was no mature content. But a lot of the jokes and a lot of the humor in the movie were directed more towards adults. It was things that adults would get. And that's one thing that I really liked about the Lego movie. So I really hope that they can continue to ride that line, because that's what's going to make the movie successful. If a kids movie comes out and it's geared solely for kids, yeah, it's going to have a great opening weekend. And it's probably going to be financially successful, but you're not going to get that return investment. You're not going to get people going back to the movie several times like people did with the Lego movie. The reason that they did that is because it was so funny and entertaining and people could really relate to it, ironically enough. But I mean, if you've watched the movie and you've gotten to the ending of it, you know why it's relatable. But still, I'm excited for this. I hope they do direct it. But if not, the fact that they're writing it to me is a big win for Warner Brothers. I'm excited for this movie. I can't wait to see more about it. And if we do get more information about any of the Lego movies coming out in the next couple of years, then I will definitely update you guys on here. This next announcement here is probably going to upset a few people, but it looks as though it's been not 100% confirmed, but it looks very, very likely that Christopher Nolan and Jonathan Nolan are severing their ties with the DC Cinematic Universe. Now, it's not over any problems or anything like that. Let's put something into perspective here first. Chris Nolan and John Nolan both got involved in the Dark Knight trilogy. And the reason that Christopher Nolan got involved with it is because he not only liked the intricacies of the character, but he saw that you could take this fantastical world and really ground it, make it real world, make it tangible, not include any superpowers, and you could still be able to do the character justice, and you just be able to tell a really great story and captivate a lot of people and be able to bring a new light to a character like this. So that's why he got involved with it. And he always said that there's never going to be any superpowers. There's never going to be a Lazarus pit or anything like that. They really stretched it thin with Bane. But still, I mean, you look at their interpretation of the Joker and you look at Two-Face and even Scarecrow. I mean, Scarecrow to me was probably one of the more difficult ones because he's got his potion and he's got his mask and all that stuff, and how they were able to make it work and make it tangible and make it real world was very fascinating. Well, looking at what DC has planned in the upcoming universe, first off, you've got Aquaman. You have a sentient being who is the king of an underwater civilization that have lived there for thousands of years. You have Wonder Woman, who is the queen of the Amazons. She, or the princess of Amazons. Either the queen or the princess, one of them. I'm pretty sure she's the queen. But, I mean, she is from an Amazonian race of gods. Her birth father is Zeus, the Greek god. You have Green Lantern, who's going to be in this universe coming up. And he is basically a space cop. He puts on a ring and it allows him to fly into space. It gives him a protective bubble so that he is able to breathe and all that stuff. But anything that he is able to think of, he's able to create through the power of his ring. You have the Flash, a man who is able to move the molecular structure of his body at supersonic speeds to the point where they can still hold themselves together, and he can move, he can almost make everything stand still. Those would not exist in a Christopher Nolan universe, and he has gone on record to say that. Now, David Goyer came to him while they were doing The Dark Knight Rises with a great idea of a way to reinterpret the mythos of Superman. And again, how to kind of combine Nolan's real world take with a little bit more fantastical, with this is an alien god, and how he would react on Earth, how people would react to him. That was the biggest question about Man of Steel. And that's the one thing that I liked was How would people in this day and age, in our day and age, how would they react if they found out that somebody like that actually existed? And that was the whole message of Man of Steel. That was the whole the lens that the movie was shot through, if you will. So I can see the sensibilities that he saw in that script and why he wanted to be involved in it, why he produced the movie. But outside of that, and the only thing that we know of concurrently for Batman v Superman is that he had a hand in choosing Ben Affleck to play Batman. Outside of that, we have no idea of his involvement in Batman v Superman. And I don't think it's very much more than that. Because he's not, as far as I know, he's not listed as a producer. It's mostly just Zack and Deborah Snyder, and Charles Roven as well. But outside of that, I don't see him even being able to be part of that universe because that's not part of his sensibilities. A lot of people have been wanting him to direct another movie in the DC universe, and first off, I don't think that would happen. But even if he would be interested in it, I don't want to see his superhero movies anymore. I want to see his new stuff. I want to see, because I mean, Interstellar looks absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to see that movie. You know, you look at all of his past films. You look at The Prestige, which is still a great film. You look at Inception, which that to me is his best film. I like that movie better than I like The Dark Knight. You know, you look at Memento, you look at Insomnia, you look at Batman Begins. I mean, every single movie that he's done has been fantastic. And I really want to see him keep pursuing that unique factor. Because seeing him getting trapped, I mean, you saw what happens when he gets trapped in a universe. You get The Dark Knight Rises. And The Dark Knight Rises, first off, it was inconsistent. The villain was, I mean, it was very well played by Tom Hardy, but it was very poorly developed. You know, Batman was it was a 2.5 hour movie. Batman was on screen for 20 minutes? I mean, it's not a Batman film. So there were a lot of problems that I had with the film, but a lot of those were, I do believe, that the fact that he just had his mind on Interstellar. He didn't care about it. He was contractually obligated to come back and return for that film. And he just put it out the way that he wanted to. So I don't want to see a Christopher Nolan DC movie anymore. We've already got those. We understand that world. His viewpoints and his ideologies do not fit in this universe. They do not fit in this Justice League world that they're creating. So I don't see it happening. But I mean, there is always the possibility. I mean, Jonathan Nolan, even in the quote, he said maybe returning to this world one day, maybe. So, I mean, there's always the possibility, but I think he's just trying not to close the door on any offers. If he was to come out again with, let's say Dark Horse, you know, he was to go to Dark Horse and say, listen, I got a great idea about how to make and adapt this piece of work. And then he'll come out and say, I know I never said I'd do a comic book movie again, but damn, I really like this script. No, he said, you know, I always left the door open. I never 100% closed it, but I felt, especially in that world, we're done. We're not going to be a part of that new universe that they're creating, but I saw this work and I really felt attached to it and I wanted to adapt it. He very well could do that, absolutely. But as it stands right now, both Christopher Nolan and Jonathan Nolan are done with the DC Cinematic Universe. They will not be shepherding it moving forward. That guy, as it stands right now, is Zack Snyder. And until they get somebody new, until they get some sort of head honcho or overseer, like a Joss Whedon or a Kevin Feige, then then as it stands right now, it's most likely going to be Zack Snyder. So that's where it stands right now. When it comes to Interstellar, though, I mean, I know I haven't been doing a lot of reviews recently, but next week you can bet that I will have an Interstellar review. I will definitely be having that up. I cannot wait for that movie. It just looks so introspective. Even about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I rewatched 2001: A Space Odyssey just to get my mind in that type of situation. So I'm really looking forward to that. So definitely check back to see about my review of Interstellar, which will be up sometime next Friday. But as it stands right now, we don't have any more information about Christopher Nolan's involvement in the further coming DC Cinematic Universe outside of the fact that it's probably non-existent. So if we do get more updates on that piece, though, I will definitely update you guys on here. And the last topic that we have to talk about today is a very quick update. So yesterday it was announced that the first trailer for Fast and Furious 7, actually now officially titled Furious 7, will be debuting on November 1st, which is next Saturday, and I believe it's going to be at around noon at Eastern Standard Time. I may be incorrect on that. You might have to check Vin Diesel's official Facebook post. But yeah, we're going to be getting our first taste of the footage of that film. I'm really intrigued to see what James Wan was able to do with this movie. He's a fantastic director. He's amazing at staging, at building suspense, and I think this movie's going to be more of a revenge thriller than anything else. The last two movies have been heist films, and this movie is going to be much more of a revenge thriller. So he is a master at building suspense and tension, and I think we're really going to see him be able to stretch his wings a little bit with this franchise, not only because of the increase in budget, the resources and all that stuff, but the stellar camaraderie that all of the cast members have amongst one another. I mean, you can tell all of these guys are friends. You can tell that because they work so well together and everything is so genuine between them. So that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of people keep revisiting these movies, not only because they're insanely fun, but because of the camaraderie between everybody, because of their chemistry and how they all work together. Everybody just wants to go and hang out with them. That's essentially what it is. And they get really fun, great action sequences while they're doing it. So the first official trailer will debut next week. I'm really excited to see what lens they're going to put through this. I'm wondering also if we're actually going to get some footage of a Paul Walker replacement. I wonder if they're actually going to test the waters so early and see how people react to it. If we do get one shot where it's actually Cody, his brother, with the digital facial replacement. I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if the effects would be done yet. So I mean, we might not even be able to tell. They may even be doing that. I mean, I'm assuming that they're going to come out, James Wan will come out in a week and be like, just so everybody's aware, 2 of the shots in that trailer were a Paul Walker digital replacement, just to ease everyone's mind. They may very well do that. I don't know if they would, because that is, I don't know the proper terminology to use. It's not insensitive, but it's almost taking advantage of the bad situation that happened to Paul Walker and trying to put a positive PR spin on it. And I don't know if the morality of everybody involved will allow them to do that. When it comes to Hollywood and when it comes to marketing, morality usually goes out the window. They usually don't care about that kind of stuff unless it's really going to get them in trouble. But when it comes to something like this could backfire if they were to do something like that. So I still don't know. I would be interested to see if they did that, or if they released 3 or 4 official photos from the movie and James Wan came out and said, just FYI, and they were all with Paul Walker in them, and he went, just FYI, one of those pictures was a facial replacement, just to ease everybody's mind. So I don't know if they're going to do that. I'm interested to see if they can do that. But as it stands right now, we're going to get the first footage on Saturday, November 1st. So you guys can definitely bet that the Monday episode, we're going to be covering that. Depending on how impactful the trailer is, I may even do my own side episode for that. So it all depends on it. But definitely check back on Saturday of next week to check out this upcoming Saturday, I should say, to check out that trailer. But as it stands right now, Furious 7, which is now the official title of it, will be opening up on April 3rd, 2015. When we get more information about this topic or when the trailer officially drops, I will definitely update you guys on here. Well, that'll about do it for us here on Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been a great audience. Go ahead and click the subscribe button there in the bottom corner. You can get updates whenever we post a new video. You can also find me on Twitter at Niklsun, Niklsun, for all of your movie updates. And you can also give us a like on our Facebook page at facebook.com/movie news with Niklsun. If you guys ever have a topic or a question you'd like to have talked about on the show, you can go ahead and put a comment in the comment section, or you can email me at movienewswithniklsun, Niklsun, @gmail.com. And every Friday episode, we'll try to get to as many as we can. But until next time, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.